Sorry, John. No!
I think most fans have probably seen that one post James Gunn shared, the photo of the Man of Tomorrow script cover page with the word Brainiac basically staring us in the face. That single tease was enough to send people buzzing, because it pretty much confirmed who Superman's next big enemy will be in the upcoming DC Universe sequel. After the huge success of Superman in 2025, starring David Corenswet in his big debut as Clark Kent, the natural question everyone had was where Gunn would take the character next. Now with this script tease, it looks like Brainiac will finally be making his live-action DCU debut, and that has massive implications. The moment DC Studios confirmed that a sequel titled Man of Tomorrow was officially in the works, speculation exploded. Fans were guessing which classic comic villains might finally step into the spotlight, and how Gunn would handle the tone after Superman established such a hopeful yet modern vibe. Then, Gunn dropped that script photo online with its eerie X-ray-like image of a brain, and suddenly people had their answer. Brainiac wasn't just being hinted at, he was practically being announced as the big threat. This choice makes sense when you think about it, because Brainiac has always been one of Superman's most dangerous adversaries in the comics, someone who can actually push both Superman and the entire world to their limits. The movie is already locked in for a July 9th, 2027 release date, and Corenswet is confirmed to return in the cape. Nicholas Hoult is also back as Lex Luthor, which is a huge deal because Gunn has already revealed that Superman and Luthor will be forced into a reluctant team-up against a much bigger threat. That bigger threat is almost certainly Brainiac, who in the comics is an alien android obsessed with gathering knowledge from every corner of the universe. The catch is that once he collects knowledge from a planet, he often destroys it so the information becomes rarer, almost like a twisted collector who burns the original just to make his copy worth more. It's this apocalyptic style of threat that makes him the kind of villain who could realistically force Superman and Luthor to stand on the same side for once. What makes Brainiac such an exciting villain for this story isn't just his destructive potential, but also what his presence does to the rivalry between Superman and Lex. Luthor has always prided himself on being the superior mind, convinced that brain beats brawn, and that Superman is just a muscle-bound alien who doesn't deserve humanity's trust. But Brainiac represents knowledge on an unimaginable scale. His intellect is far beyond Lex's, and he weaponizes it in horrifying ways. If Luthor is forced to confront someone whose brain actually outclasses his own, it could shatter his ego or push him to grow in unexpected ways. Superman, on the other hand, ended the last movie by suggesting that Lex had the potential to do real good for the world, even though it would take a major wake-up call. Brainiac might be that wake-up call. Of course, pulling off a Superman-Luthor team-up is a risky move. In Superman, Gunn nailed the dynamic between them, with Lex portrayed as ruthless, arrogant, and brilliant, while Superman embodied compassion and quiet strength. To suddenly flip that dynamic and make them allies, even temporary ones, could feel forced if it isn't written carefully. It can't just be, oh, here's a world-ending villain, so we'll put our differences aside. That alone wouldn't be convincing, especially since Lex has already shown he doesn't care much for the fate of the world. But if Brainiac serves as the bridge to dive deeper into the contrast between Superman's hope and Lex's ego, then it has real potential. James Gunn has teased that more information about Man of Tomorrow will arrive very soon, with an official update scheduled for October 9th. He described the sequel as tonally different from Superman. Where the first film leaned into a more comic book energy, Man of Tomorrow will dig into the duality between Lex and Superman at its core. Gunn even said he's more interested this time in exploring Lex as a human being. That means getting past the surface-level villainy and diving into what makes him tick: his ambition, his drive, and his twisted but undeniable courage. Gunn described Lex almost admiringly, pointing out that despite everything, Lex has this kind of raw determination that can almost be called heroic, even if his morals are completely skewed. This approach makes sense when you look at how the first movie set things up. During their final confrontation, Superman delivered that heartfelt speech to Lex about being human, about making mistakes, about choosing to keep moving forward, and about how that's actually humanity's greatest strength. That moment wasn't just about Clark claiming his own identity, it was also planting seeds for Lex's potential growth. Now Gunn seems ready to water those seeds and see if Lex can evolve, even while staying true to his role as Superman's foil. Another fascinating connection here is with Peacemaker. Gunn has openly said that Peacemaker Season 2 will tie into Man of Tomorrow, particularly the finale in Episode 8. He doesn't want fans to feel like they have to watch one project before the other, but he admitted that Episode 8 is going to be extremely important for setting up the Superman sequel. Since Peacemaker's second season deals heavily with dimensional travel, and Lex is known for dabbling in high-level science, there's a strong chance that Nicholas Holt's Lex could appear in the show before Man of Tomorrow. That would give audiences more insight into his plans and mindset going into the movie. There's also speculation about Mr. Terrific and the Justice Gang showing up, potentially linking into the multiverse elements that Brainiac could exploit. Another theory is that the quantum unfolding chamber, which has alien origins in the DCU, might directly connect to Brainiac's arrival. Some fans have even suggested that General Zod could use it to escape the Phantom Zone, though Brainiac seems the more likely candidate based on Gunn's script tease. Adding fuel to the excitement, Gunn, Corenswet, and Holt recently shared concept art showing Lex in his iconic war suit standing side by side with Superman. That visual alone is enough to send fans into a frenzy because it promises some jaw-dropping battles where brute strength and technological genius collide. Gunn described the film as not just an extension of Superman, but something deeper and more character-focused, especially on Lex. What's interesting about Gunn's comments is how he frames Lex almost like an anti-hero. He admits Lex is arrogant and often cruel, but he also sees something inspiring about his refusal to back down. In Gunn's words, Lex basically tells Superman, "You can shoot lasers from your eyes and lift buildings, but I'm still going to outwork you and prove I'm better." That audacity is exactly what makes him compelling, and pairing that with Superman's kindness could create one of the most unique alliances in superhero cinema. So what does this all mean for Man of Tomorrow? It means the movie isn't just about Superman facing another villain, it's about pushing Lex into new territory, giving him layers beyond the standard megalomaniac portrayal, and forcing both him and Superman to reconsider what they mean to each other. Brainiac provides the perfect backdrop for this because he's such a monumental threat that only by combining their strengths, physical, intellectual, and moral, can they hope to win. This is why Man of Tomorrow feels like such an exciting project. It's not just building on the momentum of Superman, it's taking bold risks with characters we already thought we knew. David Corenswet's Superman was praised for bringing warmth and sincerity to the role, while Nicholas Holt's Lex stood out as one of the most layered interpretations of the character in film history. To now throw them into a story where they might have to fight alongside each other against one of Superman's most legendary enemies feels like exactly the kind of shakeup that could define the DCU moving forward. If Gunn pulls this off, Lex Luthor might become one of the most compelling figures in the entire franchise, not just a side character to Superman's journey. And Brainiac, finally making his live-action debut in a major way, could cement himself as a top-tier cinematic villain. The stakes are sky high, the character dynamics are promising, and the build-up already has fans buzzing. With the release set for 2027 and more details dropping soon, Man of Tomorrow is shaping up to be one of the most important chapters in the DCU's future. Well, that's it for today. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe because we'll be covering more updates on this soon and other exciting upcoming movies and series. We'll see you next time.